So you have your flight booked, hotel reserved, and now you are building up your leg muscles to prepare your tour of New York City. But do you have a game plan? A game plan to maximize your time and energy. New York City might be a small strip of land, but it is dense. And most of all the tourist things you might want to do is concentrated in this portion of the city. But don't be fooled into thinking that you can easily bounce around. You'll expend a lot of energy doing that. Instead, the key to maximizing your time and leg muscles is to clump all the places you want to go to. So in this video, we are going to list out the most popular tourist attractions and where they are in relation to each other so you can create your own game plan on how to tour the Big Apple. Welcome to Urban Caffeine. Don't forget to hit that like button. Here is how we group the tourist attractions. Feel free to skip ahead. As a preamble, it's impossible to list every single attraction in New York City, but hopefully this video will give you a good idea on the city landscape so you can add in things that are not included in this list. These groupings are based on what a person can cover in a day if they are comfortable walking 3 to 5 miles every day. So if you are weeks away from visiting New York City, start training those legs. Get some comfortable shoes and start walking. Let's start at the very south portion of Manhattan. If you just want to see the Statue of Liberty, you can view it from Battery Park, but your view is going to be more like this. If you actually want to get on the island, that could take most of your day, if not an entire day. Near Battery Park is the Charging Bowl and the New York Stock Exchange and the Wall Street area. If you're interested in ships, a 10-minute walk from the New York Stock Exchange is the historic Seaport district. A 10-minute walk in the opposite direction from the New York Stock Exchange, or 15 minutes from the Seaport district, is the World Trade Center. The World Trade Center has a lot going on. It has the Memorial, a museum, the One World Observatory, and this transit and shopping hub. So visiting the 9/11 site could be half a day or a full day, depending on your legs. It may be better to start at Brooklyn Bridge Park so you can walk the Brooklyn Bridge from Brooklyn to Manhattan. This is what most people recommend because you get to approach the Manhattan skyline rather than the Brooklyn skyline. Brooklyn Bridge Park will be along the shores of Brooklyn, but the pedestrian access to the bridge itself will be here at Tillery Street. The entire walk from Tillery Street to New York City Hall, where the pedestrian access to the bridge ends, is about 1.5 miles long or 2.3 kilometers. If you are walking fast because you need to use the restroom, you can walk in 30 minutes. Otherwise, most tourists walk the bridge in about an hour. Once you cross the Brooklyn Bridge, you are just about at Chinatown. And Chinatown and Little Italy have sort of melted together over time. If your legs can handle it, you can go explore Soho and more neighborhoods further north. Or you can just end your day here with some dim sum or an Italian dinner, and save the other neighborhoods for another day. Washington Park sits in the Greenwich neighborhood, also known as the Village. Next to it is Soho, NoHo, and further out is East Village. Walking just portions of this neighborhood is a good way to go. These neighborhoods are pretty much enjoyed by simply walking around to discover different shops and restaurants and enjoy the overall ambience. Whether you walk most of the neighborhoods or just portions of them, it's helpful to know they are all right next to each other. A 10-minute walk from Washington Square Park is Union Square, which has a year-round farmers market. Another 10-minute walk is Madison Square Park in the Flatiron district. On the west portion of Manhattan, near the Hudson River, is another group of things to do. You can start at Chelsea Market, and right next to it is Starbucks Reserve. Nearby is Little Island and the Whitney Museum. Entry to the Whitney Museum is pay what you wish on Fridays at 7 to 10 p.m. Coincidentally, right next to the Whitney is the entry to the southern tip of the High Line. You can walk the High Line all the way to Hudson Yards. The High Line is about 1.5 miles long or 2.3 kilometers. Just like the Brooklyn Bridge, it's a quick 30-minute walk or an hour-long stroll. The north end of the High Line is Hudson Yards, where you have things like the Edge Observatory, the Vessel, and the high-end shopping mall. If you want to visit the Empire State Building Observatory, you can add Koreatown to that visit. Koreatown isn't really that big, it's mostly concentrated in this small area. Nearby is the original Macy's. Not too far away is Bryant Park, and 2 more avenues is the Summit Observatory at the One Vanderbilt building. The Summit is the new kid on the block. It's the newest of all the observatories where you get this fantastic view of the Empire State Building. From Bryant Park, you are another 10-minute walk from Times Square. If your legs are falling apart, you can stop here and wait out another day. But if you are prepared with your legs of steel, you have the option to keep moving north to the Rockefeller Center. The Rockefeller Center has the Top of the Rock Observatory. Top of the Rock is one of my favorites, as you can get an unobstructed view of the city. Once you're done with the Rockefeller Center, you can walk along 5th Avenue to take a look at some of the shops and flagship stores. Along the way is the Museum of Modern Art. And if it's a Friday at 4 p.m., you can get in for free. And from here, you are steps away from Central Park. Central Park is massive. With lots of things to do and see, Central Park can be its own day altogether. Or you can enjoy parts of it, then head over to the Lincoln Center and enjoy a portion of the Upper West Side. The Metropolitan Museum of Art and the Guggenheim Museum are here along Central Park, and they are the 2 most popular museums among the other museums on Museum Mile. Entrance to the Met Museum is donation-based if you are a New York resident or a student of New York, New Jersey, or Connecticut. The Guggenheim is pay what you wish on Saturdays at 6 to 8 p.m. The other museums may also have free hours and free days as well. It's always worth checking their websites. Across Central Park is the American Museum of Natural History and Planetarium, and you can pay what you wish if you live in New York, New Jersey, or Connecticut. With any of these museums, whether you intend to pay full price or get by for free, make sure you check their websites to see if you need to make advance reservations. If the museums are not enough to kill your legs, then you have Central Park to take care of that if you haven't seen it in its entirety. We've mentioned a lot of places to visit and a pseudo plan of attack on how to visit them all. This channel has a few other videos that cover some of these attractions, and links will be in the description below. Lastly, thank you to all those that watched the video from 2 weeks ago on how to choose a hotel in New York City. Your comments are always appreciated. And thank you for sharing your recommendations. For those still looking for a hotel, check out what the community has to say. And while we're at it, I hope you have a fun time in Astoria. It's up and coming as far as hip neighborhoods go. Which reminds me, just north of the Upper West Side is St. John's Cathedral with these free-roaming peacocks. Really, live peacocks just walking around like it ain't no city.